When you first know you were gay.
Yeah.
That's the question.
When did I first know I was gay? I've always guessed I've known, like, had questions, but it'd probably be when I woke up the next morning after I had sex with my best friend.
How was that?
How was that?
Did you ever expect that to happen?
I expected it to happen, but I didn't expect the emotions afterward. I didn't expect we dated for 3 months. I didn't think that would happen.
Dating. What does that entail with a guy and man-to-man relationship? How is that different? Because I know some background. You've had a girl relationship, but what makes a guy
girl relationship?
I know, and that's why I think this is kind of interesting. What makes that relationship different?
By the way, I didn't act this fucking homo before.
Just for y'all to know. What makes a guy relationship, a relationship with a guy different than a girl? For you. Like, what's different for you?
Honestly, nothing's different. That was the only guy-guy relationship I've had. And we acted as if we were a couple. There was no difference, but I changed roles. I was more of the feminine role as he was the masculine role. But it was obviously man relationship.
Sorry, I need to put more microphone closer to you.
Okay. I'm going to talk loud enough.
Talk a little louder.
Okay.
Because we always can turn it down, but I don't.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, with that said, how is high school different from, let's say, your other guy straight friends?
I mean, once I figured it out.
Mm-hmm. Do you see any different relationships? Something that you've had to work on?
I didn't figure it out until January of last year. Like, honestly, it hasn't even been a full year yet. But once that happened, Number one, I guess the package includes some sort of gaydar in which I open up to a bunch of different people, in which I developed some sort of ability to figure out who's gay and who's not. I don't know how that happened, but it happened once I realized it. But in the long run, like I've always, as the camera can see, I've always portrayed that fucking the popular pretty person, if you get that.
Okay.
And I've always been that person. It's just before January, everyone knew me as a whore with women. But I actually literally came out to my entire high school after January. Like the moment I knew it, I came out. It wasn't a problem for me. And still, from that moment on, everyone accepted me the same way.
Do you see a connection? Do you see a connection between popularity and social standard and your sexuality?
Yes.
You see a connection?
110%. In most situations, if I hadn't developed such good friendships that I had and developed oh god, it's ridiculous, but the upstanding level that I had, like, honestly, it's sad, but as everyone knows, high school has a, like, social fucking chain, and I was at the top of it, and if I hadn't developed top of it, I would have been screwed. I mean, I know other people that came out in high school, and they were at the very bottom. No one would want to hang out with them. But considering I came out and everyone knew it, but I was at that level, everyone loved me still. But in certain situations, it's really difficult. But for me, it was easy because I had so many good friends and close relationships, and it's ridiculous, but I defined the high school standards.
I think that's interesting because...
Well, I'm actually, I find it despicable because I find standards to be ridiculous. Like in college, it's proved to be ridiculous. There's no such thing anymore, per se. You know what I mean?
I think that's interesting that you bring up the fact that, your connection with your social standing, your kind of the superiority. I don't want to say that, but
No, I mean, it's whatever.
I think it's interesting that other people might have, I beg to differ. The fact that, like, what makes your situation so different as to the person that you said was at the bottom? Like, what was it, personality-wise? Like, what made him?
Well, I won't lie. People talked about me behind my back at that point. Like, people were like, oh, what a bag. People, why would we hang out with him? But sadly, because of, and I hate this, even though I was at the top of the food chain, so to speak, sadly, because of, like, that, I was able to keep everyone loved me in the fake way that people love people, and I was able to keep that standard.
Love you too.
Well, since it's kind of difficult to open myself up to people and say, like, I'm a queer,
Why do you say it like that?
I'm not.
I just think it's interesting that, we're talking, like, this is you kind of thing, and
Yeah.
I think it's interesting.
I don't look down upon it, if that's what you're saying.
Why the connotation?
Because that's what I am.
But why do you say it so negatively connotated? Maybe I'm just reading.
No. You're reading it right. Probably because that's what's expected. You know what I mean?
Thinking badly of yourself?
Yeah. Because it's different. It's different than what is expected. Like, it's funny, I wrote my entire research papers on this. Not just on this in general, but the societal norms and what's expected. I wrote an entire, like, page on the man is the breadwinner and the woman is supposed to be at home taking care of the kids, the soccer mom and the SUV. Like, but to be different than society is to be an outcast. What was I going with?
It's good. What?
Okay, so it's about the end of the night, and me and Cal had one of our
Deepest talks.
Yeah, one of the most deep talks that we have ever had.
Actually, I
And-
probably think the deepest.
Yeah.
For sure. It lasted about 30 minutes.
Yeah, over a cigarette, nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, we decided that I'm not getting a nose job, and Callie needs
Is
to be
working
told
on-
when she's a know-it-all.
Right. Because I can be.
Yeah.
But I'm working on it. And, like, the fact that I can admit that is really good. Really
That's a
good
big step for Cal, trust us.
stuff. No, I'm
See?
doing it again. All right. Well, you know what? I think Chelsea's beautiful. And I think the nose job would be a real bad idea.
Right. So, the end of the
Even though
conversation.
she sort of looks like a Tyrannosaurus Rex. That was the biggest joke
Oh,
of my
biggest
life. I'm so fucking funny.
Okay, so we've had these conversations before, and when we wake up the next morning, we reiterate them, and we understand that it's not just drunk talk, it's an honest talk. And
You know what? I actually feel like some of our our deepest, most honest talks are like the end of our like really big drunkenness.
That's true.
Like the end of it though, not like during it. But
Yeah.
the end of it.
So basically, a lot of honesty comes out when you drink, and when you confront it in the morning, it all makes sense.
Look how big my lips are.
We're being deeper now.
That's good, done.
And so basically, that's it. Everyone is honest when they drink, and when it comes out the next morning, everyone feels much better.
No, not always.
Well, most of the time.
Most of the time. You know, it's all for the better. If they don't feel better about it, like, it's for the better, at least
So
in the
from now
future.
on, if I tell Kelly she's a know-it-all, she won't get mad.
And if I
and-
tell Chelsea that I don't like her nose, well, you know, she's getting a nose job, so, okay, bye.
All right, that's